What do you guys think happens when we die? Hopefully the ketamine rush, sprinkle in some DMT and sounds fun. I was dead for millions of years before I was born and it never inconvenienced me a bit. Mark Twain. Picture a wave in the ocean. You can see it, measure it, its height, the way the sunlight refracts, and then it crashes on the shore and then it has gone, but the water is still there. The wave was just a different way for the water to be for a little while. That's one conception of death for a Buddhist. The wave returns to the ocean, where it came from, and where it's supposed to be. Chityanagatai, the good place. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. Alan Watts. You stop fearing death, that is for sure. Death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here, and when it does come, we no longer exist. When my grandfather's health had declined to the point it was clear he would not recover, he was offered counseling to help him prepare for the end. Not a particularly religious man, but raised Christian, he chose to have a few sessions with a priest to talk about life, the end of it, and possibly an afterlife. The priest asked him, "You are going to die soon, how does that make you feel?" To which my grandpa answered, "I do not know, I have never done it before. I wish that when my time comes I will feel the same acceptance and will be as down to earth as that man, my example and my hero." We do not know, and all we can do is wait and see. I am okay with that. Death is just another path, one that we all must take. The gray rain curtain of this world rolls back and all turns to silver glass, and then you see it. White shores and beyond, a far green mountain under a swift sunrise. J.R.R. Tolkien. That doesn't sound so bad. I like to think of it like a deep sleep but with no dreams. When you are asleep but are not dreaming, you are completely unaware of yourself, where you are, or even that you exist. I think death is probably the same. I have the same theory, but can't decide if this sounds scary to me, sounds peaceful, or that I am utterly neutral on the subject. Neutrality sounds like the most appropriate response, as nothingness isn't inherently good or bad. My opinion changes regularly, so maybe it's somehow a mixture of all three. I am hoping to meet up with my dog and cross the rainbow bridge with him, but I am afraid nothingness awaits. My cat LL be waiting for me and she LL prob just bite me. Human. I haven't eaten in sa chomp. Sorts by controversial. How do comments get determined to be controversial? Seriously, I have always wanted to know. High amount of upvotes and downvotes. I will tell you when I discover it. You are the forehead to rule them all, laughing my butt off. If we are lucky, someone deletes our browser history, blast my cache. Probably like sleep, except you do not dream or wake back up. Sleep is practice for death. Sleep, those little slices of death, how I loathe them. Edgar Allan Poe. I legitimately have no clue at all and do not want to waste time guessing. What I hope happens is I can somehow interact still with all the people I have loved in my life. I know that is really optimistic, but if I could decide what happens, I'd love for that to be true. The only thing that I am pretty sure of is that a human body and mind are limited in perceptive capacity. I think whatever does happen, it is not going to be what I expect. Edit. Thanks for the badges and upvotes, people. I hope you all have a good day. Do not you know where you were before you were born? You are going back to that stuff. I can't even remember where I was a year ago. Well, if the good place taught me anything, it is that there is a lot of penis flattening in the afterlife for those that are assholes. All I know is, I do not want to have my ghost penis flattened, over and over for eternity. I don't want butthole spiders. Exact same thing as before we were born. This thought puts me into an existential crisis, but so does the thought that my consciousness will continue on into eternity. Even if I were to exist in some kind of paradise, the thought of existing forever is daunting. There is as yet insufficient data for a meaningful answer. I actually thought of the last answer when I read the prompt cause I reread it last night, but the last question is one of my favorite stories. So the point of that story is that man created God and then God created the universe again, right? I recently lost my girlfriend to suicide. It is a struggle every ducking minute to not join her. Hopeless does not begin to describe how I feel without her on the planet with me any longer. Her father said something that appealed to my atheist mind though, when he brought up the first law of thermodynamics, conservation of energy, that energy can be neither created nor destroyed, rather, it can only be transformed or transferred from one form to another. The totality of human consciousness, in my opinion, cannot simply be electricity. That energy does not seem like it can account for conceptualization, creativity, etc. If it could, then all things, ideas, thoughts, art could be measured, captured, and recreated with the correct series of electrical impulses. Anyhow, that is giving me a tiny bit of hope that she is out there, somewhere, and if I am lucky I will communicate with her again in the future. It is true. Hang in there, live in ways that make those you care about proud. Death comes for us all. Don't take the shortcut. If all we can say is that we tried our best to do what we thought was right, then at least we have that. Nothing, or rather, like Terry Pratchett put it, lots of things, they just do not involve you. I just want to hold my sons again and never have to let go. Edit. You all have absolutely melted me. I cry whenever I type something about my boys and you have all brought more tears to my eyes. It is so sad to see others go through this, but somehow eerily comforting knowing it is natural and I am not alone. I do not deserve the awards, but it means so much that people have thought enough of me to give them and to even comment. I am thinking of you. I do not know about you, but I will have to work for my family as an ancestor, protecting and guiding whoever is left and whoever comes after me, maybe until I am forgotten, maybe for the rest of eternity. Why are you having an existential crisis? Constant. A lot of people will celebrate, a lot of people if you lived right. If you do it wrong, it is just one or two. Live well and people will celebrate you. Live poorly and people will celebrate your death. I hope I get to see my mom and grandpa. I miss them so much. As my dad was dying, he said out loud, "I'll be there soon, Mom." Mom was what he called his grandma who basically raised him. He smiled, fell asleep and only woke up one last time to smile at my mom. Then he stopped breathing at 10:01 a.m. Respawn at nearest teammate. Like going home. I am not religious, and for most of my life did not think much about this question. I just went with the popular sentiment on this thread. It is a blank nothing before you are born, so fair enough, it is a blank nothing when you die. Recently a friend of mine said she believes that death will feel like going home. That resonated with me. So, in an abstract and non-specific sense, I now like to believe that it will feel that. I like to think it as an afterlife, reliving my life from the beginning, but as the actor and also director, everything plays out the way it did, but at any point, I would be able to pause and rearrange whatever I wanted. People would say what I wish they said, I say what I wish I said, I just want a do-over, you know. I am an atheist, but if there's an afterlife, this is what I wish for. This is awesome, and along the lines of what I hope for, too. I imagine this being literally the most never-ending form of joyful content. If our universe is provably infinite, who has to say this isn't exactly it? 1 second, I will find out. Yo, it has been 2 hours. Wanna spill the beans? Guys, he said he had find out, not that he had report back. No sight, no sound, no touch or taste or smell, nothing to think with, nothing to love or with, the anesthetic from which none come round. Philip Larkin obeyed. It's wishful thinking, but I don't know, like my mind being transferred into a brand new egg to be born. Would not ever remember my past life. I find the reincarnation thing comforting too. Helps me live my life, I guess. I am terrified of just nothing. I love the short story The Egg by Andy Weir. He describes a system in which, after you die, you go back to Earth as a different person, living all lives before being born as some sort of celestial being. I do not believe that is what happens, but I like to pretend I do, because it makes life so much more meaningful, and it creates a real urgency to be excellent to each other and leave this world better for future versions of you. I hope it's something like a black void of nothingness where you get to choose what kind of life will your soul live next, like a character build in a D&D run. But as soon as you announce that you are done, you will have no recollection of your previous life, so you basically get to start a new game. Old me picked the lamest life. Warning, trippy shit. I like to believe that when you die, your life flashes before your eyes. This is evident by observing dying people's brain activity, and the hippocampus memory bank has a lot of activity, but because your body releases so much DMT hallucinogen when we die, it is slowed down to a perceivable rate. Therefore, how do you know if you're really living your life, or if you're dying somewhere in the future and just reliving it in your own head? It doesn't matter though, because at the end of reliving your life, you start dying again and it all goes back to the beginning. Like a mirror in a mirror. I can't believe I am taking this much time reading this thread while I am off somewhere dying. Who is to say you reading this thread is just your brain's abstract way of coming to terms with its own inevitable mortality? Kurzgesagt has a really good video called The Egg. I like to think that is what happens, but I do not believe it. That video is just the spoken version of Andy Weir's short story of the same name. Same dude who wrote The Martian. Probably nothing, but I really hope I can see my brother again. The thought of him not existing anymore makes it hurt much more, and the thought of reincarnating and not remembering him is scary. I agree that the thought of reincarnation is scary. I would actually prefer nothingness, in which I believe the most, over reincarnation. Same boat, man. My brother passed a few months back, and the only comforting thing is believing he is up there looking down at me, and that I'll get to see him again. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.